Hey everybody, Jim Prusek here from the Pain PT. Hope you guys are doing well out there today. Today I want to go over two different ways of self-talk for fear and fear symptoms in your body. And they may seem paradoxical, but they're coming from the same underlying premise. And one of these is Dr. Sarno's way of talking very firmly to your brain, says knock it off. And the other one, which seems paradoxical, is bring it on. Knock it off versus bring it on. And you may say, wow, they sound completely opposite. And they are in a way, but what the common denominator is here is that we are getting out of fear. We are coming from a different place when we respond to the fear. Okay, so fear comes up in the body through symptoms, fear comes up through the emotional feelings, fear comes up through the sort of action tendency of wanting to avoid or shut down or escape. And then we can respond. And we can respond from that prefrontal cortex part of the brain, which is really important. That part of the brain has connections to the amygdala, which is where the fear generates from. And we can respond to that part of the brain and let that brain know that we're okay, that we're safe, that we're all right, that there's no threat, no danger. So one of your responses can be knock it off, stop this. We don't need this. We're safe right now, brain. We're okay. And that's a very strong response. And Dr. Sorna mentioned that we're not going to take this anymore. Tell your brain you're not going to take this anymore. Very powerful response to fear. Because as you know, fear can take over and it can start to control you. And that's that amygdala hijack. So you can respond strongly and tell the brain to quiet down, turn this down, stop this, knock this off. Okay. And that's a very strong cortical response from that cortical brain, prefrontal cortex. On the other hand, we have the other response, which comes from a work of what they call paradoxical intention, which was used for panic attacks, anxiety attacks, where you actually say, bring it on, go ahead, get worse, bring it on, right? So in that case, we're actually also getting out of fear. We're not responding from fear anymore because we're saying, I don't care what you do, go ahead, get worse. And so they used to say with panic attacks, tell the panic attack to get worse. Tell the symptom to get worse when it's an anxiety symptom or a fear symptom, especially when we know there's no danger or threat. And this is when you can use both of these cortical responses to fear symptoms, to fear in your body, to the feeling of fear, to the fearful thoughts. You can have either of these two responses, and both of them are coming from the same underlying premise that you don't think there's a problem. You think you're fine, you're safe, you're okay. So knock it off or bring it on. Go ahead. I don't really care. So this idea is that is how you teach, or is a way to teach that limbic brain safety, that there's no problem here. Okay, the last thing you want to do is agree with the fear reaction when there is no threat or danger. You don't want to be coming and reacting from more fear. We talked about that being the double fear or the secondary fear, because then you're just reinforcing that fear. You're amplifying fear. So either way, knock it off or bring it on can be two strong cortical responses to fear from the limbic brain. Both those cases can start to downregulate fear in quite opposite ways, but actually have a very similar effect. If you guys want more help in learning how to do this, or wondering if you have neuroplastic symptoms or how to treat them, how to go about overcoming them, please reach out. You can find me at thepainpt.com, and we'll talk to you guys next time. Take care now. Bye-bye.